Switch Radio Sport. This is Switch.
Worcester City win that game and they will be in Division 1 Midlands next season.
Chance in Paul Job's got chance in the penalty, gets shot in and goes to the back of the net, and Cheyenne Jarvis gets the second goal for Leaford Athletic this afternoon, found space in the 6-yard box.
Back to the edge of the penalty area with the pass, crossing towards the back post, headed goalwards and in!
That's a great shot from De Castro! Oh, what a save for Gray! And Winkin 2-0!
Stourbridge have won the Division 1 Midlands title.
The Women's Football Chat on Switch Radio.
Good evening, welcome along to this week's episode of the Women's Football Chat. My name is Chris Gadsby and I'm here nearly every single week bringing you the very latest from the third and fourth tiers of women's football here in England. That's the FA Women's National League, and I just want to start by saying a big thank you to all of those who have sent me messages over the last week congratulating myself, but more importantly my wife, on the birth of our daughter. That's why there was no show last week. She was born last Wednesday, so a bit preoccupied with nappies and bottles and all the rest of it, but in more of a routine now and able to bring you the Women's Football Chat from a weekly basis once again. So it's been a busy week, really, hasn't it? There's a load of league results to go through, but we'll only look at those in terms of the league table when we look at the fixtures. Otherwise, we'll be very, very long this week in terms of the show. We're going to focus mainly on the second round of games for the FAWNL Cup and Plate competitions, because those little league tables are now starting to make a bit more sense, and we're starting to get a picture of who's going to end up in the Cup, who's going to end up in the Plate, and more importantly, how many PGA sides are eliminated at this stage. Not as many as you'd like, we'll be honest, but there is still all to play for, with the vast majority of teams only having one game left to play. A few have two, and we do also have decisions from the FAWNL regarding games that have not been able to be played. So what we'll do is we'll go straight down to looking at all the results from the last 7 days. We'll start then with Group A, and it's Plymouth Argyle who lead the way with 2 wins from 2. They beat Bridgwater United 5-1 at the weekend. 2 for Imogen Crawford, 1 for Olivia Francis, 1 for Phoebe Poole and 1 for Charlotte Whitmore. Bridgwater United's goal coming to Connie Pengelly. Bristol Rovers, they got a 2-0 win over Marine Academy Plymouth. Goals there to Laura Barrett and Rhianne Bourne-Hallett. So currently it's Plymouth Argyle leading the way. They're going to finish at least in the top 2, you would think, unless Bridgwater United get a victory over Bristol Rovers in their game that was unable to be played in that round of midweek games. That game is being played next Wednesday. So Bristol Rovers against Bridgwater United next Wednesday. If Bristol Rovers were to win that game, then those 2 top positions would be confirmed. But of course, there is still going to be that chance that you go in the Cup or the Plate, depending on where you finish. If you finish second, with regards to all the other sides in second place across the country and the FAWNL. Also in Group A, Plymouth Argyle, they remember their game got abandoned against Marine Academy Plymouth in those midweek games, so they pulled that forward. They played that this week as well. Plymouth winning that by 5-1, which has meant again that they top the group now convincingly with a goal difference of 8 goals in that one for them. Phoebe Poole 27th minute, Roisin Cavell 48th minute, Charlotte Whitmore 78th minute, Olivia Francis in the 80th minute and an own goal. The only goal for Marine Academy Plymouth coming in the 21st minute to Skye McDonald-Brown. Let's move through to Group B, which has a 1-1 draw between Abingdon United and Portishead Town. Kimmy Tanner-Joyce gave Portishead Town the lead before 5 minutes later Molly Ligo-Jackson equalised for Abingdon United, and they get a point each. Exeter City beat Southampton's Academy, or PGA side, whatever you want to call it, under 21s Academy, PGA, shouldn't be in here regardless. And they win 5-2. Phoebe Baker in the 3rd minute, Ishbel Zermond in the 46th minute, Georgina Presswell in the 45th minute. There was 2 for Ellie Sara as well, 37th and 82nd minute for Exeter City. The 2 for Southampton Academy, Lucy Chads and Natalie Matthews. But it's Exeter City then who lead the way on 6 points. Southampton Academy in second on 3 points, and then Abingdon United and Portishead Town both have 1 point. Exeter City face Abingdon United in the final game, Portishead Town against Southampton's PGA, so unlikely that either of those two sides will get into the cup competition. You kind of already need 4 points from the first 2 games to be in a cup spot at the moment, so it's unlikely, I would think, that 4 points will get you through into the cup as one of the best second place teams. There might be the odd 1 or 2 that sneak in, but with the goal difference as well, you'd need a big win for either of those two sides. Into Group C. Again, this is a group with a very mismatched looking table at the moment, because Keynsham Town against Gwalior United is being played next Thursday, the 18th of September. But this weekend, Gwalior United 4, Bristol City Academy 0. Tia Asker, Casey Gregson, Bethan McGowan and Georgia Walters with the goals for Gwalior United. And Swindon Town beat Keynsham Town by 3-1. 2 for Libby Davis and 1 for Sarah King for Swindon Town, with Abigail Todd the only goal scorer for Keynsham. So Gwalior United currently sit in a plate position in second in Group C, but they have only played 1 game and they do have a very healthy goal difference as well. If they can get anything out of that Keynsham game next Thursday, that will put them into a cup position going into the final round of games on the 28th of September. Group D, after the big wins for Brighton on the opening round of games, beating Worthing 7-0, they then lose to Lewes 3-0, 2 for Rebecca Trout and 1 for Olivia Carpenter for Lewes. And Fulham packed more misery onto Worthing with a 4-1 win. Stella Gandy Morgan in the 20th minute, Ellie Olds with 2, pretty much bookending the game, 7th minute and 89th minute. Kaylee Stead in the 9th minute also got one for Fulham, so they were 2 up inside the first 10 minutes. Lauren Amerina with the only goal for Worthing, but Worthing pretty much already guaranteed to finish at the bottom of Group D and not take any further part in these competitions. That -10 goal difference and 0 points, unless they are able to overturn a 12-goal swing, they are going to finish bottom of Group D and not take any further part in the FAWNL plate. Does that mean that they play a load of youngsters and rest some players for a league situation? We'll have to see what they do come the 28th of September, but Worthing already pretty much eliminated from the competition. Group E then, with Bournemouth beating Moneyfields by 2-0. AFC Bournemouth, of course, getting promoted from South West last year, and they beat Moneyfields by 2-0. 13th minute and 47th minute for Sophie Quirk, the only 2 goals of that game. But a very good win for Ascot United, who beat Bournemouth Sports by 4-0. JC Lane in the 26th minute, Mia Delaney in the 49th, Erin Huntley in the 65th, and Kate Fox in the 67th with the goals for Ascot United. Convincing victory for them, puts them second in Group E, gives them a spot in the Cup at the moment. But they do have a difficult fixture against AFC Bournemouth, albeit at home for their final group game. Moneyfield you would fancy probably to beat Bournemouth Sports, so they might leapfrog Ascot United into second. However, 4 points is extremely likely, if not certain, if I can do the maths correctly, to get them a plate spot already. So Ascot United doing well in their first year, in the FAWNL so far. Group F then, very kind of mixed and matched group here. Kidderminster Harriers losing 2-0 to Worcester City. Cheltenham though beating Birmingham City 4-0. We'll start with Cheltenham with Isabel Nunes in the 9th minute, Courtney Jones 23rd, Unalu 62nd and Guimara Apusi Tasham in the 67th minute. Convincing win for Cheltenham Town. Worcester City also with a 2-0 win. Jessica Fastnage in the 67th minute, Karis Lowley in the 73rd minute with the goals for Worcester City. Means they go second, but with the draw in there the opening round between Kidderminster and Birmingham, it is quite tight between those bottom three. Cheltenham Town are guaranteed a top 2 spot, but any one of those three could finish the group stage in second, and with 4 points again, that might be enough to get themselves into the cup. So not all is lost for those two sides. Kidderminster Harriers hosting Cheltenham Town might be tough. Worcester City may well fancy themselves against Birmingham, particularly with Birmingham drawing to Kidderminster Harriers and then Worcester beating Kiddy. So Kidderminster Harriers then currently third in their group. We already know they suffered that 2-0 loss to Worcester City at the weekend. John Foster caught up with Kidderminster Harriers captain Amber Lawrence to get her thoughts on the game.
It's been really good so far. I think first couple of games were 2 challenging fixtures. Sheffield away, long journey. I think it's one of the longest journeys. But great for the guys who haven't been at this level before to experience that as a whole, as a game day, travelling away with the coach. And one thing that I really took away from that game was actually there was no negativity at all from it. It was a kind of a case of, okay, that's the result that we've got today, but it wasn't necessarily what we deserved. And I think everybody came away from that with a bit of belief. Unfortunately, again, we didn't get the result against Northampton, but from what I've seen, I was away, from what I've seen from the footage, we proved that we deserve to be at this level. Had a great game against Notts, disappointing to concede so late on, but again, it's first 3 points on the board and I think we can really build some momentum now, so it's positive.
On that, what you just said, do you think that you're building a team there for the bad times as well? So when you do lose a couple of games, the heads don't drop and they actually bounce back and come back stronger?
Yeah, I think it was really important for Andy and the staff this season to bring in certain characters that fit what we wanted to achieve as a team this season. I don't necessarily think there's been any wild expectations in terms of we want to go on and win the league. You know, it's been very much a case of let's cement ourselves in this league and let's build a club that's here to stay. And I think that the characters and the additions that we've brought in have certainly aided that. So it's positive so far.
You mentioned you got your first win of the season in your last league game. You got the assist as well. Quite a tense end to the game as well. What were your thoughts on that?
I think the game as a whole was very to and from in terms of both sides. I think both sides had good spells of the game. I don't think there was anybody that outright held the ball for longer, but ultimately we come away with the 3 points and that's what matters. And I think watching at the end, because I was on the bench at the end and watching was horrendous. I don't ever want to be in that situation again, but they did really well to get the 3 points and glad to have got the win.
You're known as a forward-minded player, and this season you're sharing the pitch with 3 new forwards, Niamh Deasy and Liv Woolston, the most high-profiled, and Molly Bubb as well. How do you feel they're settling in?
Obviously, I've known Niamh for a very long time, and I'm so happy to have her at Kidderminster, and she's been a fantastic addition. I think most importantly for people to aspire to, she's a Golden Boot winner at this level, and I think for particularly you mentioned Molly Bubb, who's 16 years old, and she's playing some really exciting football in our under-18s. I think she scored, like in the opening couple of games, she scored like 6 goals in 2 fixtures or 9 goals, can't remember what it was. But Niamh, for people like that, for the youngsters, we've got a young squad, you know, she's a very high-profile player and a role model for them to aspire to. And I think everyone's been settling in really well. I was really pleased for Liv to get her first goal on Sunday. I think it's something that's been kind of coming for the last few games, because she's had chances in each game and she's shown little bits of what she's about, and I think she's kind of getting up to that full speed of fitness now, and I think she's definitely a threat that other teams would consider to look out for sure.
Not sure if you're aware, but you received the opposition player of the match in the opening game of the season against Sheffield FC Women. Do you have any individual aims this season?
I think I'm not getting any younger, John, and I think I'm probably coming to, my final few seasons in football, and particularly at this level. So for me individually, it's absolutely get fitter and just compete to be in the team, to be around the girls and to be a leader, and hopefully just contribute as much as I can towards us getting as many points as we can out of the league. And I think that's probably my individual goals as a player.
Your former club Stourbridge is up next in the league. Remember how big the occasion was when we played them last season? Will the same energy be there this season, or is it now just another club?
I think even more so. I think for me particularly, it's a club that's very close to my heart, and it's been somewhere that I spent some really amazing times at. And like other people who are in this team, we've got really fond memories of being at Stourbridge, and the game at the War Memorial in the Cup was certainly an occasion, and one of up there for me of one of my favourite games I've ever played in. The atmosphere, the attendance. It's a shame that it's not midweek, because I think for both clubs financially, it would be great to have that midweek to get as many people there as possible, because I think it would be a great fixture, and hopefully a well contested one. In terms of the energy, we're very much up for it, and I think if we just keep doing the things that we're doing, then we should come out with the outcome that we're hoping for. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's the first time back at the War Memorial for me since I left a few years ago. So yeah, bittersweet, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
We are now into Group G. Group G has a 2-0 win for AFC Sudbury over London City Line. S's Jessica Allen and Cherise Slater with the goals for AFC Sudbury, and another convincing win for Chatham Town, 3-0 away at Billericay Town. Lucy Jones 24th minute, Amelia Woodgate 16th minute, Madison Woodgate 7th minute. So all the scoring done in the first 25 minutes for Chatham. It means that both Chatham and AFC Sudbury have 6 points each. They will of course play each other on the final group game, but with London City Lionesses and Billericay Town both on 0, they are both going to be in the top 2. One of them, whoever wins that game in Group G on the 28th, will automatically go through into the Cup. The other one, it's likely they will probably get into the Cup as well, but we'll have to wait and see. What is going to happen though, if those two sides draw, it is almost certain that 7 points will get you a cup space, and therefore if those two sides were to play out a draw, they would both progress into the cup beyond all reasonable doubt for me. And that would mean that because there is no further seeding in the cup, there is no advantage to finishing first in the group over finishing second. The only advantage being you're guaranteed a cup spot, whereas in second you're not. But if you get into the cup as one of those best second place sides, which 7 points would get you there almost certainly, there is then no advantage in the knockout rounds to finishing in first. So it'll be interesting to see how both of those sides decide to play that one. Group H then, Actonians beating Chesham by 2-1. Claudia Charlaken in the 42nd minute, backing up Molly O'Reilly in the 4th minute for Actonians. Eve Hendel with the only goal for Chelsea, but they lose that game 2-1. Means Actonians are top of the group. A convincing win though for AFC Wimbledon against Maidenhead United. They win by 6-1. Eleanor Dory in the 7th and the 93rd minute. Ilola Cotter in the 45+2 and 63rd minute. Ashley Hinks 55th. Daisy McLaughlin 22nd minute. Convincing win for AFC Wimbledon, who again, they've got a good goal difference in third. We'll have a look at the rankings towards the end of this when we've gone through all of the groups, with a round of fixtures still to go. But Chelsea in third, they're only behind Wimbledon on goal difference. Chelsea then take on Maidenhead in the final group game. They will fancy themselves there, particularly after beating Wimbledon, who then beat Maidenhead so convincingly. Actonians against Wimbledon will be a very interesting matchup to look at. Moving through then into Group I, and it's a 2-0 win for Dulwich Hamlet over Crystal Palace's PGA side. So Dulwich Hamlet in the 87th minute, Natalie Taylor with the only recorded goal of that game, although they did win by 2-0. And Crystal Palace bottom of the table then with no points from their first 2 games. Hashtag United and London Bees play out a 2-2 draw. Hashtag were 2-0 up in this game. Arana Addison in the 38th minute, Isabel Tomlin in the 45+1, but then 2 goals in 3 minutes for London Bees in the second half. Betty Larkin 72nd minute, Cheyenne Flynn in the 74th minute, bringing London Bees back into the game, and they get their first point of the campaign. Hashtag United then on 4 points with a goal difference of 5. A strong position to be in going into that game against Dulwich Hamlet on the final game of this group stage. If they were to win that, they would top the group, be automatically into the cup. But Dulwich Hamlet with their 6 points would have a decent chance of getting through into the cup as well. Group J is where the big numbers really are. 6-1 for Queen's Park Rangers over Charlton Athletic Academy, 2 for Anna Dizjak and 4 for Melis Mehmet for Queen's Park Rangers, just the 1 for Charlton Athletic, Siobhan McMahon. But Watford 9-0 over Chesham United. We've got Freda Ayisi, Maya Kendall, Marcy O'Meara, hat-trick for Lashante Paul, another one for Madison Perry as well. Plenty of goals going in and around for Watford. And they win by 9-0. It means they top the group with a goal difference of 16 because they beat Charlton Athletic 7-0 in the opening round of fixtures. So 16 for Watford and 6 points. 11 for Queen's Park Rangers and 6 points. Charlton Athletic on no points. Chesham United on no points. Watford and Queen's Park Rangers, even if they finish on 6 points, it looks highly likely they're going to end up in a cup spot because of that massively inferior goal difference. Queen's Park Rangers currently topping the second place sides with that goal difference. They face each other on the 28th. Again, if they were to play out a draw, they would both qualify. Chesham United and Charlton Athletic women will both go into that matchday 3 game knowing they need to win to stand a chance. Now, 3 points could well see you into the plate. 1 point will more than likely not do it for them because of that inferior goal difference. In fact, I'm almost certain it won't. So they will both go into that game really needing to win, and Watford and QPR will go into that game pretty much knowing that it doesn't really matter because the goal difference is so superior for both of those sides. Into Group K, about halfway through these groups now. Rugby Borough beating Northampton Town by a 0-0. Kellis Barton with the only goal of that game on the 40th minute, but Arsenal Academy beating Loughborough Lightning by 2-1. LMA Coots, the only goal of the game for Loughborough Lightning, means they're at the bottom of the table, yet to get off the mark. Arsenal and Northampton are on 3 points each, and with goal differences that are hovering around neutral. Rugby Borough 2 wins from 2 top the group and would go through into the cup as things stand. Group L then, and this one, Real Bedford topping the group. They beat Norwich City by 2-0. Chloe Logie in the 25th minute, Izzy Bryant in the 89th minute with the goals for Real Bedford, and Cambridge United beating Peterborough United by 2-1. 2 early goals for Cambridge. Jade Bell in the 16th minute, Mia Richards in the 20th minute as well. And then it was an own goal that brought Peterborough United back into the game, but they could not find an equaliser, and they are bottom of the group with no points from their first 2 games, and they take on the so far perfect Real Bedford in their final game. So things looking tough for Peterborough United. Group M then, Oxford United beating the Spurs Academy by 3-1. Nicole Sean Barrett in the 28th minute. That was their middle goal because Emma Thompson put them in front on the 3rd minute. Holly Turner then in the 61st minute, making it 3-0 to Oxford. Tottenham did get 1 back in the 90th minute through Janai Pair, but yeah, big win again for Oxford. And Luton Town beating Milton Keynes Dons by 2-1. Favour Omanazu with the only goal for Milton Keynes, but Lisa Milliken in the 40th minute and Natasha Fensom in the 80th minute with the goals for Luton Town. So in Group M, Oxford top the group and Luton are second, both with 2 wins from 2. They take on each other in the final group game. And Milton Keynes Dons and Tottenham Hotspur Academy are currently yet to get off the mark. Tottenham, interestingly, are one of the two sides, along with Charlton, who occupy the two lowest ranked third place sides going after 2 match days, which means that currently there are 2 PGA sides qualifying for the Cup, 8 qualifying for the Plate, and 6 being eliminated with 1 round of fixtures to go. Let's go through then to Group N, which has a 2-0 win for West Bromwich Albion over Leicester City. It was a 2-0 win, and yet on full time, which is the league's big system, 3 goals have been recorded. Molly Kehoe, Rhiannon Oakley and Olivia Rabjohn, but a 2-0 win it was over Leicester City Academy. Now, for Leafield Athletic, they beat Stourbridge by 4 goals to 0. Gemma Fraser in the 5th minute, Evangeline Gallop in the 49th, Gwen Horgan in the 88th, Rebecca Fraser in the 91st. It means that West Brom and Leafield both have 2 wins from 2. They'll play each other on the last match day of the group stage, and the 2 teams yet to get off the mark, Stourbridge and Leicester City, will have everything to play for, because a point might be enough for them to get through. Well, it would be enough for Leicester to get through. A point won't do it for Stourbridge, because they would end up in 4th. Stourbridge would go into that game having to win. So, yeah, an interesting one for those teams in Group N. Group O then in the FAWNL Cup. Bournemouth, St Michael's and Aston Villa play out a 1-1 draw. Leonie Joyce with the equaliser for Bournemouth St Michael's in the 44th minute after Millie Round had put Aston Villa Academy in front. And Sporting Khalsa beating Sutton Coldfield Town by 3 goals to 1. Goals for Sporting Khalsa in this one, 2 for Anya Denham in the 24th and the 74th minute. Eva Cassidy with the only goal for Sutton Coldfield Town. But a 3-1 win for Sporting Khalsa in that game. We heard from both sides of the dugouts after that game. Firstly, from the Sporting Khalsa manager Juan Dopazo speaking to Kevin Moore, and then after that, Harry Rowe after Sutton Coldfield Town's defeat by 3 goals to 1.
Always these cup matches are going to be tricky because it's not the teams that we normally play every single week. Also, this game was a must win for us after losing the first League Cup game a couple of weeks ago. So it was really important that we won this game, so I'm really happy for the team to get the win, the 3 points, and stay alive in the League Cup.
I believe the National League are going to make sure that all the last group fixtures will be the same 2 o'clock kickoffs, won't they? But taking that into consideration, though, Juan, you knew your game was going to be kicking off an hour earlier than other group matches taking place this afternoon. It has no bearing what you need to do, though, is it really? You want to get the 3 points and just get a good performance against your local rivals, Juan.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I don't check my phone to check results that are happening at the same time. I don't really care, because if we win, we're fine. And that's the mentality that we need to go to every single game in the season. It's about us winning games. It doesn't matter who we're playing, what competition it is. It's about us doing the right thing to win 3 points. I mean, none of the coaching staff, none of the players have a phone, and they are not checking results at all, because it's not what we really care about. If we take care of our own business, we're going to be fine in either competition.
So let's go back to the game in a bit more detail, actually, Juan. I mean, 24 minutes in, Anya Denham scores as well. But a good finish by Denham. I think it's fair to say stand-up performance by Anya this afternoon as well. And Eva Cassidy got the equaliser to make it 1 apiece at the break. Good finish for Eva Cassidy. Tenacious goal from herself, though. But did you sense the first half was always going to be a very tight affair, generally speaking, for the first 45 minutes? Or do you feel you had the upper hand majority of the first half?
No, I think the first half was even in certain moments, because we knew what they wanted to do. They wanted to defend deep. They wanted to try to get us in the counter-attack. They were trying to force us to make certain mistakes in good areas for them to take advantage of that. And the example is the goal they scored. They won the ball in a horrible position for us to lose it, and they punish us, rightly so. So fair play to them in that instance. I think we lack some intensity and quality in the first half, and probably we could have done better the first half. I think second half there was a completely different mentality for certain players that didn't do as well in the first half, and the first 3 subs that we made, they made a massive impact on the intensity, the quality, and the chances we started creating in the second half, that it could have gone way better for us in the second half if we would have taken those chances with a bit more quality.
And moving on then, Juan, forthcoming matches on the horizon, Burnley and Derby back to league duties, and then of course Villa Academy to wrap up the group stage of the National League Cup. So the games come thick and fast, but positive start with the result against Halifax, by the way. And Burnley, we know it's been an interesting season already. The changes have gone on so early in Tier 3 are quite shocking really, and quite astonishing really, to say the least. But nevertheless, from your point of view, another day in the office, and play Burnley, see what you do against Burnley, but also Derby on the horizon. By the time you play Villa in your last group match in the National League Cup, you want to be in more strong position where you are in terms of the league, but there's certainly some winnable games on the horizon for yourselves though. When we talked in pre-season about you as a squad, as a team, as a club, learnt so much from last season's first debut season in Tier 3.
I mean, Burnley is going to be, we know, they are one of the contenders to win the league. We know that. There's no hiding about how good they are. But as I mentioned to the girls just now after the game finished, we need now, enjoy today. We won, brilliant. We are still alive. We still got the Aston Villa PGA team to play and see if we can go through the main draw. But the reality is this week we need to focus on what is coming in front of us next Sunday, and it's not going to be easy. We need to prepare well. We need the full squad to train the right way because it's tough. But at the end, do we have a chance to compete? Yes, and that's the idea of every single game. We go with the mentality of competing. Now the result, many things could happen and many things could be the factor for a positive or negative result, but we also go in a positive mindset that we at least the minimum is compete and stay in the game as long as we can and hopefully get points against any team in the league, because that's our idea as a club, is we go compete and try to get as many points as possible to stay one more year in Tier 3 and hopefully improve what we did last season.
Okay, we've now Harry Rowe, the manager of Sutton Coldfield Town Women. Harry, not to be today, 3-1 loss against Sporting Khalsa, but a tight affair at times as well. Strange game really, wasn't it, at times really, isn't it? Because we know it's a cup fixture, but the pace of the game was quite a steady pace throughout the entire 90 minutes, I thought, as well. Did you sense it was all going to be a tight game anyway? I mean, they got the 3 goals to win the game, obviously, but it wasn't no way near 3-1 really, was it?
No, I think I said the goals. I said 3-1 is a little bit unfortunate. You look at a 3-1 and go, well, that's a comfortable win, whereas if you were at the game, you'll know it wasn't comfortable. I thought we were really good value, especially first half. I thought when we went in at the break, I felt that we were the better team in the first half. I felt that 1-1 was almost flattering them rather than flattering us. And I felt we did enough in that first half to be ahead. But no, I knew it was going to be a tight game. We played them in pre-season. We knew what they were like. I keep saying to the girls, we've got enough quality, more than enough quality to match teams like Khalsa, more than enough quality to go and match teams like Peterborough. And I think it's a very similar affair to Peterborough, where the scoreline probably doesn't provide a true reflection on the actual game. But look, we have to hold our hands up. We've given 3 goals away, so at the end of the day, you can't concede 3 goals and expect to win the game. 3 unfortunate goals, I'd probably argue. Last week it was more a case of mistakes, whereas this week it was more a case of a few moments that really struggled us. There's a controversial one for the first that they scored. There's then an own goal that's never intended. And then there's a penalty, which is a penalty, but it's a harsh one to concede. And I was pleased with the performance. I thought we dug in. I thought we did really well. I thought we caused them problems, and you could almost tell by the sort of animosity on the sidelines that they weren't comfortable. There was at no point in the game where they were really relaxed, and it was always tight affair up until probably the 75th, 80th minute where they got the third.
And that point you mentioned about the goals as well, Harry, because I mean the first goal, big talking point, because it did look for a moment the ball had gone out of play. I mean, I think it'd be fair to say there were 1 or 2 players on both sides thought it's gone out for a goal kick here. I thought that myself for a moment. Taking that out of the equation, though, really up to that point, it was fairly even seams between both teams up to that 24 minutes when Anya Denham got the goal to put Khalsa in front.
Yeah, it's frustrating because I don't want to talk about officials and I don't want to mention them in interviews, but you could tell by the girls' reaction from both sides that it was clearly out of play. If you got the odd shout from 1 or 2, you're going, well, they're just trying it here, but everyone had appealed for that. The crowd could see it, we could see it, they could see it, and the officials struggled to keep up with play. It is really disappointing because, like you said, we were really good value that first half, and you've conceded a goal that shouldn't be conceded. The ball's clearly gone out of. You shouldn't then concede that goal. It should be a goal kick. You should reset, and it becomes a different precedent. Especially if we then still get our goal and we're 1-0 up, it's a completely different affair. Controversy aside, it was a really close game. The first half I thought was really good. I thought we were superb in picking our moments to go and be aggressive, and superb in picking our moments where we had had to be a little bit more compact. I thought first half it was a great value, and for the neutral, I'm sure it was a great half to watch.
And, great response from Eva Cassidy. Great goal in her own right to score the goal. What I thought was very good about the goal itself, Harry, was like the perseverance. She had two players on her. Rebecca Green was trying to get the ball off her, but held off physically very, very strongly, and still got on a good, strong finish as well. A great goal from Eva, and a great confidence booster for herself, really, because didn't get many sort of open chances during the 90 minutes. But if that's a type of goal she can score at matches this sort of level, then you've got a player that can be an asset for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, I had a really good chat with Eva in pre-season, and last year she only got 3 goals in the entire of the season. And we had a good chat, and she was playing wider, and I wanted her more central. She's a little bit misconceived in terms of she doesn't look as physically strong as she is. She's strong, she's got a good core, she's got good balance, and she's not afraid for a little bit of a battle, a little bit of a scrap, and you saw that today with the way she's held off defenders. Yeah. And she's always been a goal scorer. Everyone that would have known Eva as a youngster will know she scored goals. And it's just about for us getting her in those positions to score goals. She's on 3 already this season, which is already the same as last season, and we've got really high hopes for her. She works hard, she battles physically, she does a lot of running off the ball for the team, and she's a superb asset to have, and she's just one that you have to keep fit, keep firing, and hopefully keep getting her into those positions where she can score goals.
And the pairing between herself and Liv Ashfield up front, that looks like a blossoming partnership, doesn't it?
Yeah, Liv's superb as well. They're both runners, they both like to get in behind, they both like to run channels, they'll both work really, really hard, and we're fortunate enough where we've probably got 3 or 4 that will do that. I asked a lot of my front line in terms of discipline and in terms of out of possession work that maybe some of the teams wouldn't expect, but it shows its value when you get your reward like that. And I thought they were superb today. I thought they both ran themselves into the ground, and obviously Liv came off after about an hour, and Em came on, and I thought she was just as good out of possession, just as good in running, working hard, and it gives your team a real boost when you've got a front line that's willing to work.
Yeah.
The midfielders then have to push up and work with them, and the centre half's got confidence, and when they're willing to run channels and when they're willing to run in behind as well, it really stretches opposition and makes them think.
And as we expected, Harry, this afternoon, of course, you would utilise your bench because the nature of this competition encourages you to use your squad and use every player during the course of the season as well. But bringing on Caitlin Bradbury as well and Jodie Price, very positive to them come onto the field of play in the second half in particular. So after today's game, then reflections and opportunity to sort of reflect on what's coming up on the horizon. Notts County next Sunday at Coronation Park, local derby against Leaflet Athletic, and then you finish off this group stage of the cup match against Bournemouth St Michael's. So going into October, are you going to try and give yourself some time to reflect on how September's going to go for you this time for yourself back at the club as the manager?
Yeah, I know it's a cliche, but it's always one game at a time. So you're going to have a look to see who you've got. We know we've got probably what people say is a tough run of fixtures. Notts County away is not a place that many people don't pick up points. You've then got, like I said, Leafield, Boldmere again, I think in October, as well as Northampton.
Yeah, 2 on the bounce, yeah.
So they are teams that are pushing to win the league. They are teams that want to go and succeed, but we'll focus on Notts County for the time being. We'll focus on that one. We've had a positive week this week, like you say. Jodie's returned from a few weeks out. Chloe Bickley's returned. Hopefully Mill should be back this week as well. And yeah, we get in there. We've had an okay start season. We had a good result against Stourbridge. We then felt we should have done more against Villa and probably should have done more against Worcester. And then Peterborough was tough. It was always going to be. But what's really pleasing for me is the performances are getting better. Yeah. The performances are there. People that are seeing the game are realising that they're not. The scoreline's probably not quite true reflections of the game. And I'm pleased with where we're at. I would like us to be a little bit further along than we are. But that's football, that's every manager's job. And yeah, we'll take it one game at a time. We'll reflect when we need to reflect. We'll do our analysis and things like that on the months and on the weeks as it comes. But main focus is Notts County. We'll then look to Leafield, we'll then look to Bournemouth. But it is the cliche, but it is one game at a time.
Group P then, we're moving through them slowly but surely. Derby County beating Lincoln United by 6-2. Marnie Drake 35th minute, Chien Muir in the 45+2, then 4 off the substitutes bench, 2 for Olivia Edwards, 1 for Kate Oakley and 1 for Lily Skeldon. Lincoln United's goals coming to Veronica Kuzia in the 20th minute. She only came on after 15 minutes for Jodie Steadman, and Madison Green in the 70th minute. Notts County, though, beating Sheffield by 2-0. Leah Hardy and Shaniqua Barnes with the goals for Notts, just 4 minutes apart there in that one. And Notts County then in second on 3 points. Derby County 2 wins from 2 in Group P. Of course, they're the only Tier 3 side. There's no PGA side in Tier 3. But they're in a strong position as well with a goal difference of 7 from their 2 games. Moving through into Group Q, quite a tight one in places, but Stoke City beating Wythenshawe by 6-0. One for Delphi Cole, Dominique Cooper, 2 for Evie Priestley, 1 for Ruby Scott and 1 for Ruby Millington, with the goals for Stoke City. Wythenshawe unable to get past their defensive line. And Wolverhampton Wanderers beating Manchester United Academy by 3-1. Charlotte Greengrass in the 53rd minute equalising quickly after Manu had gone a goal up through Layla Drury, and then Wolverhampton Wanderers 59th minute Rachel Quigley and 95th minute Amelia Hiscock just to seal that victory for Wolves. Means that they top the group with 6 points from 2 games. Stoke in second with 3 points and a goal difference of 5, which is handy for them. Manchester United and Wythenshawe both have a point each after they drew on the opening game of the group stages. So Manchester United then go away to Stoke. Wythenshawe host Wolves. Looks likely that those will be the top 2 at the end of the group stage. Group R then. Liverpool Feds with a 3-0 win over Liverpool's Academy. Emily Cole in the 14th minute, Katie Anderson in the 15th minute and Courtney Willis in the 90th minute. So 2 very quick goals for Liverpool Feds to start off, and then they sealed it right at the end. And a 2-2 draw between Cheadletown Stingers and Stockport County. Ella Harris in the 87th minute, Harriet Horton in the 94th minute for Cheadletown, Levi Rathburn in the 29th and 77th minute, giving Stockport the lead, and then Cheadletown rescuing a point with 2 very late goals in that one. But the interesting thing in Group R is not that result. It is the result of the disciplinary outcomes for August, because Liverpool Academy have been charged with failing to fulfil their Cup group stage fixture against Cheadletown. They've awarded the points to Cheadle and imposed a £500 fine, of which £250 is suspended against Liverpool. So that is key for Cheadle. Interestingly as well, Leicester City Academy have been charged with fielding ineligible players during their group stage fixture against Leafield Athletic on the Thursday the 21st of August. That has also had a £250 fine imposed and the game been awarded to Leafield Athletic. However, the points have been awarded, but no goal has been awarded, which does have quite an interesting impact potentially on who goes through. At the moment, Cheadletown Stingers holds that final second place qualifying for the Cup spot. However, Gwalior United and Bristol Rovers behind them have a better goal difference and have got to play another game. They've only played one yet. This is where it's interesting, because if Cheadle just scrape through, then someone who just misses out can go, well, you could have played that game, lost, and then we'd have got in on goal difference. Equally, if Cheadle miss out, they go, well, we haven't had the opportunity to play this game, score a bunch of goals and qualify. I mean, if Cheadle had beaten Liverpool by, let's say, 4-0, they'd currently be top of the group, and there'd be no danger of, at the moment, of them failing to qualify for the group, out of the group for the Cup. It could prove slightly messy. Granted, there's not a lot that can be done about it. Those group games have to be played by the 28th of September, because particularly Tier 4 have got an awful lot of Cup games coming up. There's a couple of weeks of league. Then the 28th of September is the final group games. The week after that, the 5th of October, is the third qualifying round for the FA Cup. 12th of October, the week after that, is the first knockout stage for this competition. The week after that's County Cup, the 19th. And the week after that's the first round of the FA Cup on the 26th. So some teams will be playing 5 weeks of Cup games before they next then have a look at the league. So it's going to be very slow in terms of league progress in the next few weeks, I feel. Right, 4 groups left to go through Group S, Doncaster Rovers Bells beating Barnsley Women by 1-0. The only goal in that game was an own goal in the 74th minute. Unlucky that one for Barnsley Women, but Hull City, convincing win over Sheffield United Academy by 6-1. Hope Knight with 2, Grace Foyer, Catherine Hamill, Sophie Hayward and Erin Nicholson all with 1, means Hull are at the top of the table and convincingly with goal difference of 9. They will finish top of the table because unless Doncaster or Sheffield United Academy can win, Hull City lose, and there is a 12 at least goal swing on the goal difference, Hull City will finish top of that group. Again, what does that mean for when they play Barnsley on the last group game? Because they're almost certain to qualify for the Cup. Even if they lose that game, the goal difference should see them through into the Cup. So how do they play that game? It is going to be a very interesting one to look at. I mean, 6 points, there might be the odds team with 6 points that don't make Cup, but with a goal difference of 9, any ties, Hull are going to be right up there. And Doncaster against Sheffield is also going to be an interesting one, because both of them, again, 6 points. If you can get that goal difference to a positive, you might have a chance of sneaking into the Cup. So that's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on as well. Pretty much every single team has got something to play for going into the final games. Right. Group T, Burnley 6, Huddersfield 0, Brooke Cairns 7th minute, Charlie Chadwick 5th and 36th, and Heidi Logan in the 11th minute. 2 for Amy Kelly off the bench, 84th and 85th, a convincing 6-0 win, and Chorley an 8-0 win over Blackburn Rovers. A hat-trick for Olivia Ellinson, 2 for Molly Wood, 1 for Rachel Lawrence and Elizabeth Hamer, and 1 for Isabel Binks as well. Means that Chorley have done wonders for their goal difference, but of course they did lose to Burnley on the opening day. They, though, now play Huddersfield, who got thumped by Burnley this time around. If Chorley can win that game, again, I think the goal difference will be enough. But Burnley currently top of the table, 2 wins from 2, a goal difference of 8, and they've got to go to Blackburn, who have been really struggling. So Burnley, you would think, are probably, beyond all reasonable doubt, going to end up in the Cup as well. Penultimate group then, Group U, and Halifax with a big win over York City by 6-1. It's a win they needed in this group as well. Farrah Crompton in the 39th minute, Bonnie Davis in the 8th, Anna Phillips in the 34th, Megan Shaw in the 19th, Ainsley Strickland in the 29th, and Mia Jacobs in the 48th minute with the goals for Halifax. There were 5 up at half-time. Rosie Bell in the 63rd minute with the only goal for York City. And Norton Stockton Ancients drawing with Leeds United 2-2, a very late equaliser for Norton in this one. Alice Hughes had put Leeds in front 2 minutes in, with Georgia Ray equalising for Norton on the 63rd minute. Abby Graham then put Leeds back in front on 68, until a 97th minute equaliser for Erin Green means that Norton got a 2-2 draw, and it keeps that table really tight and compact. Leeds top it, then Norton Stockton Ancients, with Halifax in third, just 1 point behind. Halifax take on Norton Stockton Ancients in the final game of Group U, with Leeds United travelling to York City. So very exciting end to Group U. And then in Group V, it's Chester Street Town losing to Durham Sestra by 2-1. Durham with the 3 points in this game to keep Group V very close as well. 23rd minute for Grace Mackey and 49th minute for Grace Collinson for Durham Sestra, after Chester Street Town had taken the early lead through Jenny Ashton in just the 3rd minute, with Middlesbrough and Sunderland PGA playing out a 0-0 draw. It means that Middlesbrough are top of the group, then Sunderland PGA, and then Durham Sestra are in third, again on 3 points. So a very entertaining end to Group V, you would think. So that is the current situation in the FAWNL Cup and Plate group stages. So if we have a look at the standings then, particularly for the 2nd and 3rd place sides. So Queen's Park Rangers, no surprises there, are top of the 2nd place teams. Luton Town, AFC Sudbury and Leafwood Athletic all have 6 points from 2. The tiebreakers then go to goal difference and then goals scored, hence the columns. So Hashtag United, Ascot United, Sunderland's PGA side, Norton Stockton Ancients, Boldmere St Michael's and Cheadle Town Stingers, the other teams who are currently qualifying for the Cup with 4 points each. The rest of the teams qualifying at the minute all have 3. However, Gwalior United and Bristol Rovers have only played 1 game each. So 6 points is likely, you would think, to get you into the Cup. 7 points will. 6 points is likely. And for the third place sides, it's Tottenham Hotspur's PJ and Charlton Athletics PJ side that currently occupy those kind of eliminated spots. Of course, that could all change, because if you're in third and you're playing the team in fourth and you lose, then you could end up being eliminated completely. But teams such as Halifax on 3 points, a goal difference of 4 and 6 goals scored, any one of those sides on 3 points, if you've got a positive goal difference, you're very likely to make at least the plate. And I think it does lead to very interesting dynamics going on for the rest of these games, because some teams will not have anything to play for. Some teams have got everything to play for. Do you play juniors? Do you rest your first team? Do you really go for it? There's no advantage to going for it. If you're 90% sure you're going to be in the Cup, which some teams are, the likes of Burnley, is this game just a chance to get injured? It's going to be interesting to look at. The group stage as a whole has been great. It's a really good, interesting format. It just doesn't need the PGA sides in it. They could do it with just FAWNL sides, and hopefully that'll get reviewed in the future. But full programme of league fixtures coming up in the next 7 days. Let's have a look at those. Yeah, so we'll start with the Northern Premier Division then. Everyone, of course, playing 3 games so far. It's Burnley who top the bill. They got with 7 points. They've got a goal difference of 10 already. Wolves in second, Hull in third, all on 7 points. But this weekend, it's Derby County against Halifax, 12th against 10th. Hull City against Liverpool Feds, 3rd against 11th. Loughborough Lightning against Rugby Borough, which is 7th against 4th. Sporting Khalsa against Burnley, 9th against 1st. West Brom take on Stoke, which is 6th against 5th. And Wolverhampton Wanderers against Middlesbrough is 2nd against 8th. In the Southern Premier Division, it's Bournemouth who top the way thanks to their goal difference. Lewis in second, Watford in third, all on the same points, but not with as good a goal difference. And there's 3 teams on 6, Plymouth Argyle, Gwalior United and Cheltenham Town. So the top 6 all within a point of each other. This weekend, Billericay Town currently in 12th. They host Real Bedford, who are currently 9th. Cheltenham Town against Watford is 6th against 3rd. Gwalior United taking on AFC Bournemouth, 5th against 1st. Oxford United against Exeter City, 8th against 7th. Plymouth Argyle against AFC Wimbledon is 4th against 10th. And Hashtag United in 11th take on Lewis, who are currently 2nd. Moving through into Tier 4 and Division 1 North. Blackburn Rovers against Stockport County, 11th against 3rd. Cheadle Stingers against Doncaster Rovers Bells is 1st against 4th. Durham Cestra against Huddersfield Town, that's 9th against 2nd. Norton Stotson Ancients against Chorley, 5th against 7th. Wythenshawe against Leeds United, 6th against 8th. And York City against Chester Street Town, 10th against 12th. Cheadle Stingers, the only side in Division 1 North to have a 100% record. They're already 3 points clear, and they have Doncaster Rovers, who are in 4th with 2 wins from their first 3. Will that 100% record survive or not? 3 teams with 100% records in Division 1 Midlands: Peterborough United, Bournemouth St Michael's and Leafield Athletic. And they take on all different teams this weekend, so they could all survive. Peterborough United at home to Sheffield, Bournemouth St Michael's at home to Worcester City, and Leafield Athletic at home to Barnsley Women's, but Barnsley Women's are in 4th, Sheffield are in 5th. Other games: Lincoln United 12th against Northampton Town in 8th. Notts County 6th against Sutton Coldfield Town in 10th. Stourbridge against Kidderminster Harriers is 11th against 7th. And then Leaford Athletic against Barnsley, as I said, 3rd versus 4th. Boldmere against Worcester City, 2nd versus 9th. Into Division 1 South East. Actonians against Milton Keynes Dons, 7th against 12th. AFC Sudbury against Cambridge United, 11th against 3rd. Dulwich Hamlets, they will try to upset Fulham's 100% record. They're in 8th and host 2nd place Fulham. London Bees will also want their 100% record to survive as they host Chatham, currently in 5th. Norwich City against Luton Town is 6th against 9th, and Queen's Park Rangers against Chesham United is 4th against 10th. And finally, Division 1 South West then. Ascot United against Portishead Town is the bottom two coming up against each other early on in the season. Bournemouth Sports against Keynsham Town, 10th against 7th. Bridgewater United against Maidenhead United is 5th against 6th. Marine Academy Plymouth will try to get rid of Swindon Town's perfect record. They are in 4th and take on top of the table Swindon. Moneyfields chasing Swindon down at home to Abingdon United, who are down in 8th. And Worthing in 9th take on Bristol Rovers, who are currently in 3rd. That will about do it then for this week's episode of the Women's Football Chat. Thank you very much for joining me. A full programme then of fixtures for the weekend. We'll be covering plenty in Division 1 Midlands on Switch Radio on Sunday afternoon. And of course, the Women's Football Chat social medias will be all over the results and the league tables come 4 or 5 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Some of the leagues with games starting at 3, of course. Plenty more to come for your Saturday evening here though on Switch Radio. The Alternative 80 show with Andrew Richards is with you after the news at 6.